In addition to that, there are two other problems. This is a prison planet, or a planet in the Draco system. And this planet is about 1 light year away from the star that's at the tip of one of the Dipper constellations. So if you want to look that up, if you go, where's the Draco constellation, where's the Dipper that's near it, that's where the home planet is. And it's a very controlled, totalitarian kind of one world government. And they've taken all the revolutionaries and dissidents and political prisoners, musicians, artists, and all of the degraded beings who refuse to participate and are lazy or criminal, bundled them up into a package of 20% of the artists, revolutionaries, political prisoners, and 80% of the degraded beings, and dropped them off here. And the given theory is that if we, the beings who are in the human bodies, want to get out of here, everyone has to go at the same time. And the theory is, and it's worked so far for 70 million years, the 20% will never be able to organize or control the other 80% to do that. And what's happening now is a dramatization of the totalitarian environment. We had Russia do that in the last century, and now it's going global. And underneath that is the extinction level events which happen apparently now enough to destroy civilization every 2,000 years, with blows along the way every 400 years. Which leads to the second problem is, if there is an extinction level event, it includes the dominant species at the time, which was dinosaurs back when that happened. And back down to bugs and beetles and squiggly things in the earth and the sea, having to do the work of waiting for the planet to become habitable again, and then the long, slow build-up of forms back to the human platform, where one can go to an esoteric school and work on your higher centers and get out of here when you drop your body. Most people don't leave because they want to stay and help the rest of them, which is part of the trick. Oh, you want another lifetime? No problem. Behind the scenes here, there is 3 books by Arthur C. Clarke. It's the Foundation series, which is at this juncture being badly made into a science fiction show, which really doesn't get the flavor of the intentions of the books across. But there's a foundation, which is a galactic empire like Star Wars Empire. Foundation and Empire, which if memory serves me, which it very often doesn't, is an empire that destroyed the original peaceful foundation. And the third book is the second foundation, which is the return to sanity. And the second foundation stayed hidden while the demise happened and came out later to rebuild the thing. And I won't give away the ending, but similar to what happened here at the time of the Great Flood, which I think was one of these events, now that we have this info. Beings came down from above to reestablish civilization. They could have been from another planetary system, but it's more likely that they were humans who went to the far side of the moon or Mars to wait it out, so they could come back and reestablish, which is what Elon Musk is up to. Trying to get the tech together to have some people in a backup location on Mars. The multi-planet civilization, which is a good idea. So back to my premise that this is a game which is between the extinction level events. Do you think that you, oh former godlike being, can get it together to get everybody out of here? And as far as I know, that game has gone on for more than 70 million years here, and we haven't succeeded yet. And the clock is ticking on this one. Part of the theory of organic life on Earth is that it is a receiver for communications from other planets and stars, which in this system are living beings, and as the Earth is a living being, and the moon is a child of the Earth. Being fed by the Earth, by the way. No one seems to have noticed that the Earth eats the bodies of dead things. Where do the souls go? Some of them go to feed the baby. And that's mineral life. And that is the outer darkness that's mentioned in the Bible, where there will be wailing and gnashing of teeth because it takes so long for a mineral world to gain enough life energy to become a planet and then a star. So George Gurdjieff was once asked, can war be stopped? And he said, yes, it can. What causes war actually is the communications between planets and stars and Earth. And it comes in the form of electromagnetic and magnetic waves or communications. And these play over the surface of the Earth like the northern lights in the sky. If you could see it, it would look like that, only it would be right down on the surface of the Earth. And why this has not been seen, unless you animate in order all of the empires in the Middle East, is the time scale is so different. So you would have to take the conception of the flickering you see in the northern lights and slow it down across decades. So a war will start, like the 100 Years' War between France and England, or the empires in the Middle East will last for 3 generations, so 200 years of this empire, and then another flickering, and somebody else goes, oh, I have to be king, and his son is a stupid king, and his next son is a corrupt king, and someone else goes, no, I need to be king. And these waves of war are caused by the stress from planetary influences going through these DNA platforms into the ground. And if you think we're immune to that, we're not. You look at everything else is a victim of gravity and the solar light, the tides, the trees go straight up apparently because of the attraction to the gravity of the moon. And you might ask, well, then why don't they fall down at night when it's on the other side? Again, it's a matter of speed in different cosmoses, because from the moon's point of view, the Earth is spinning like this. So if you had a magnet here and iron filings, it was spinning before they had a chance to fall over back again to the magnet. That's the situation with this, all the organic life growing up. It's being attracted by the moon. And that's why we stand up on our hind legs. We're attracted by the moon. These are different viewpoints, and these are talked about in Peter OUSPENSKY's work. It's called Thinking in New Categories. What new categories? Categories like that. If everyone knew these things, if it was taught in school, and if mental discipline was taught in school, we could resist this and war could be stopped. Because it's natural, but it's not part of the composite beings, the spiritual being in a wet primate platform. We don't have that. And one of the main reasons we don't have it is it wouldn't be good for the Earth and the moon, because organic life feeds the moon, which is a child of the Earth, and it wants to become a planet, and the Earth will eventually become like the sun. This is part of something called the ray of creation, which, circling back to the beginning of this second half I mentioned the physical underpinnings of where the game is. This is the ray of the creation from all worlds down to this world to the moon, which is the becoming world. In a way that makes planet Earth the second worst place to be in this universe. And that also is what makes the game more exciting. If you lose in a certain way, your soul gets captured by the moon and you become part of the mineral life there. Like like a crystal, the only form of crystalline life we're aware of is crystals because they grow and they have form. And people wear them as amulets and they say, this has power, this helps me, this does things. There's something about it. Which seems a little anti-scientific. But why do people believe this? It's mostly crystals. It is some other rocks too. But this is a telepathic apprehension of life which exists on another scale. A crystal can take hundreds or thousands of years, millions of years to form, but it's doing something, and on its own time scale, it's not suffering. This is another thinking in new categories that's taught in the esoteric schools, is the scale of times in different cosmoses. And where we are here, we're stuck between the galaxy, which for us is two-dimensional. It's just a flat plane, which is three-dimensional for itself. Earth, which is three-dimensional. And then we start looking down at molecules, atoms, electrons, nuclei, quarks, and now they're down to the God particle, which they think is it, but it actually consists of three other particles, and they may get to that soon. The three particles are from World 3, which is the first world, which is created by the will of the being that created this particular universe. Beyond the God particle, which consists of three other particles, is the will of the Absolute, or the whim of the Absolute. And if you want to know that, you need to read the book by Meher Baba called God Speaks, where he explains this. And in this exposition, in the middle of the book, he without saying it, explains that the Big Bang is actually the small leak from the idea of if the Godhead can create everything, he can also create nothing as a concept. What is that? Well, that's nothing. But it's God's nothing. So in the furthest corner, of the nothing is a sort of a something, the smallest mote. And that smallest mote is what we're calling the Big Bang, because on our scale, it looks like a big deal. But on the scale of God, it's not, it's a small leak. And now it's a TV show. I'm usually here at 6 in the morning, but this is midnight, and I just noticed the tide has come off the top of the river. There's a river here which flows that way, and the tide comes in this way on top of the river. It goes about 50 miles. And I can see the street lights shining on the mud on the bottom of the river here. And that tidal water was pulled away by the gravity of the moon. Which leads me to, if you've ever carried a bucket of water, it's heavy. The moon is able to pull the oceans of the world around the world and up. You know, some places have tides of 12 feet, all that weight. That would not be possible if the moon was hollow. So I don't think, using logic, that the moon is a hollow spaceship, because it wouldn't be able to pull the tides. It wouldn't have enough mass. Other books in the esoteric arena say that the weight of the moon is so great that the Earth is under more pressure than any other planet here, which is part of what creates the action here. And it looks like the Earth and the moon is a baby double star system. Most star systems are double stars. Which means that the Earth is a child of the Sun, and what the Sun has birthed is a daughter, which is the double star system. Which again makes this a unique place in the solar system. It's where the action is. Which is why people dial into this game. The 4 outer gas giants are putting out more radiation than they receive from the sun. So this puts them in the category of could they be birthing suns? Which again, are they the children of the sun? Is the sun, if not having children, it is expanding. This is called the ray of creation. Which consists of, the minute it leaves the whim of the creator being, is all worlds, all possible worlds, meaning universes. Inside of the worlds are all suns, which is all the galaxies full of stars. And the next world down is all suns, which is the individuals, suns like our sun. And then all planets and all moons. And that's the end of this arm of a ray of creation. Thinking in new categories.